like all the players, they all colluded together. They're like, mate, we're gonna let Light sleep early today. It's crazy. It's crazy. Let's go. As spawning in the right hand corner of Ultra Love, we have our red Protoss player representing Team Liquid. It is SKillous. Collusion. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is NightMare. Here we go. It was just a red herring. There you go. Speaking of, welcome on to Ultra Love. Ultra Love has a unique feature, and what is that? Similar to Arrow Home that we saw previously in the previous PvP, there's a ramp. There's a ramp coming into the natural. What does that mean? That means it is legal, it is viable to go for a low ground expansion, to go for a gateway into Cybercore, into Stargate, into Nexus. We're setting up for an economic opener from SKillous. NightMare sets up on the high ground. Interesting. Now, it is not uncommon to set up on the high ground, go for a gateway, and still go for the Cybercore into Nexus to go for that kind of build regardless. So we'll keep an eye on NightMare to see if he opens up aggressively or not. 2-gate opener. Does hide the probe and he sneaks out. My eyes are on this worker, because NightMare, he has the potential for a 1-base all-in for a proxy. So our eyes are on NightMare. He did avoid the scouting probe of SKillous. SKillous, he is looking for the pylon. And NightMare, he will hide it. Based on this location, though, this is looking like a proxy Stargate, not a 1-base all-in. As there's the pylon. What I mean by that, this is pretty far away for a proxy robo. And we can see here that, yeah, SKillous is looking. He moves out with a second probe. He is searching for the proxy, he's searching for the pylon. He checks the standard robo location. He checks this down. Oh, he goes further right and he will find the pylon. It will spot this. It will spot this. SKillous setting up for the Stargate, and he will be found. There we go. He knows he's been found. He pulls away. Back at home. Double adept. And backs off. Yeah, he was setting up for the proxy. He abandons it. He gets found. And SKillous holds. And SKillous, he should get away with a more economic start. There's that Stargate back at home instead of being proxied. Will mean that the Oracle is going to be delayed. Yo, do we end up in Phoenix Wars? That's a good question. Stargate opener out of SKillous, Stargate out of NightMare as well. What's important, though, is that neither player really knows. SKillous, he didn't see the tech, and likewise, NightMare didn't see the natural. So, oh, never mind. SKillous, he gets in. SKillous, he sees a Stargate. SKillous, he should be making Phoenixes. NightMare can assume Stargate play, but he will confirm with the Adepts. So, we should be entering Phoenix Wars. There we go. Does confirm the Stargate. Goes to the Oracle regardless. Bold move. I mean, Phoenix Wars aren't very enjoyable to kind of play with. True. Phoenix on the way for SKillous. Oracle from NightMare. And this is actually quite greedy. This is quite greedy here. From this very confident play from NightMare. He knows he got scouted. He's still going for the Oracle anyway. There's a low chance that this Oracle actually gets any damage because of the Phoenix. As the Phoenix has arrived, but NightMare does slip into the main. Does shade in. One of them gets targeted. The other going to get surrounded by the boys. Not quite. One probe goes down. Just the one. I spoke too soon. 2 probe kills. Getting up to 3. 3 probes going down. Nice damage here from the Adept. Oracle does arrive. Does threaten the natural so far. Phoenix, they miss the Oracle. Uh-oh. They do miss the Oracle so far. NightMare getting away with this. He also goes for a natural at the unnatural. Like, what's happening? Also expands elsewhere at the 3rd location instead. Let him cook, Papi. Let him. Let's go. As I don't believe there was a pylon block. Meanwhile, the Oracle gets thrown away. Gets 4 more probe kills. Again, it gets thrown away because the reality is that these Phoenixes would shut it down. So does these trade. And Phoenixes, they threaten a dive. They should check the natural as well. Rest of the army's moving out. Does confirm the lack of extra gateways. Pigs off probes. And NightMare's in trouble, I'll be honest. NightMare, he's in quite a bit of trouble here. Being forced further back. SKillous, he's waddling in. Does he check? He will. He will check. He will confirm. And this third base, this natural, it's so isolated. It's so isolated, so far away. Difficult to reinforce. Nice force field. Stalker goes down. Stalkers are coming from behind. Not bad. NightMare, he will shut this down. Forcing back with SKillous. He does force back those Stalkers. NightMare, he will hold, but again, it's going to be a difficult hold here as the game progresses. It's not going to be easy. SKillous racing back. NightMare, can he intercept? He knows where the Stalkers were. Yeah, and he does move in to intercept. Nice movement here by NightMare. He gets one. He gets one. Now he's going to get two. Maybe even all three. Oh my god. NightMare is popping up. Shuts down three Stalkers. SKillous is stuck at home. Moves up with the Oracle. No shield battery. Uh-oh. No shield battery position. Probes are going down. Losing 4 or 5. Almost up to 6 worker kills. Stacy pops off. Oh. Oracle does fall. Another best trade there from SKillous. As he was focusing his attention elsewhere here back at home instead. Ooh, as the pylon gets as he powers everything. Pylon goes down. SKillous trying to make a stand. Does try to make that stand. He does pop out with the immortal. He holds. Whew. Does hold on. An intense moment here for SKillous. NightMare still recovering. Still down in workers, down in economy. Working purely with Blink Stalkers. Now getting his own Phoenix. But I do have to give the edge to SKillous. What is SKillous going for? He's skipping Blink. We're skipping Blink, we're going into Charge. Basically, Charge also do an amazing job at tanking both Stalker and Immortal shots. They do a great job at buffering and even dealing damage as well. What Zealots struggle against, which we saw in the previous PvP, are Archons. Archons, they completely shut Zealots down, but Archons are a non-factor here. We're not teched up. We're not ready for that. So Zealots, they can actually trade very well in this kind of game state. As we go for another drive-by, second Stargate? NightMare. We're going Mass Phoenix. This is a bit of a misread. It almost feels like he believes that SKillous is continuing Phoenix production. It's going to be a big investment, and we'll see how it works out. Diving into the main. Immortals are in position. Blink is on cooldown. Stalkers are going to go down. He gets 2. He gets 3. Oh my god. Okay, 2. He gets 2 Stalkers. NightMare forced out. Phoenix, they go back into the main. Phoenix production gets spotted. Second Stargate as well. And does SKillous take the bait? Does he continue his own? He doesn't. He doesn't need to. Yeah, what does he have instead? It's Archon time. Archons are on the way. Archons are amazing against Phoenixes, against most things that NightMare has. Charge also moving out. And this is going to be a tough hold for NightMare. As Archons is just such a great anchor point against Phoenix play. As obviously Phoenixes, they cannot lift. I would imagine the goal here is to lift all the Immortals. But easier said than done. As he does push forward. Here we go. It does go for the lift. And Phoenixes are being targeted one after the other. Zealots, they do collapse in. One Immortal gets targeted. But alas, SKillous, he breaks through. He breaks through the defensive line. GG gets called as he overwhelms. And SKillous will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Very decisive play here from SKillous. Again, he took a massive lead early on. It was a very chaotic game. Very chaotic. We had an attempted proxy from NightMare. It got scattered. It got shut down. NightMare from there, he went into a weird natural location into double Stargate Phoenix. It was crazy. But SKillous, he just went for the kill. Didn't expand, didn't take a third base. He went for a charge and an Archon timing. He had 2 Archons towards the end, which were just a great way to deal with the Phoenixes, great way to deal with whatever NightMare had left. GG. GG, well played. Of course, Zealots, they played their role. It all came together. All came together. And that leads us into game number 2. Let's go. Going to be loading into Frostline, a larger map. Larger map in the map pool. but less defendable. This time, there's no ramp coming into the natural, there's no choke point coming into the third base. The bases on this map are more exposed, they're more open, and more favorable towards aggressive play. And here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Frostline, we have the red Protoss player, representing Team Liquid, leading the series 1-0. It is SKillous. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Streamer Zone. Down in the series, we'll see if he can recover and bounce back. It is NightMare. Now, this is a rematch from Home Story Cup. For those that remember, we were the B stream. We were the official B stream of Home Story Cup at the beginning of December, and both SKillous and NightMare were there at Home Story Cup. They were at Home Story Cup, they were in the same group, and if you recall, SKillous, he popped off. So did NightMare, in a sense. NightMare did make it out of the group stage into the playoffs, and SKillous did not, but SKillous, he looked amazing, specifically in the PvP matchup, and I believe SKillous was one of the few players that actually knocked NightMare down in that group stage. So he was able to beat him at Home Story Cup, but here we are, what, a month, 2 months later at OSC. We'll see if NightMare can bounce back. But now 2-gate opener. 2-gate opener out of SKillous, likewise 2-gate opener out of NightMare. We mentioned before that the reason why SKillous went for an economic start on Ultra Love was because of the ramp coming into the natural. Here there is no ramp, so 2-gate openers are more standard. Unless you're max packs. If you're max packs, then that's different. And in general, I would say that the meta has been shifting, especially amongst the Korean players. I'm referring to players like Trap, Classic, Hero, and even NightMare as well, where they have been more willing to open up with Gates Cybercore into Nexus openers, even on maps where it is unsafe to do so. They have been mixing it in. So the PvP meta has been shifting. Ever since the new patch. Until then, we have our first units of choice. Going to be Stalker Sentry out of NightMare. Likewise, going to be Stalker Sentry out of SKillous. Is going to be Stalker Adept out of NightMare. Now, with a Sentry-based opener, it is very safe to do so here in PvP. Again, because it allows you to have that hallucination scout to get across the map and to get eyes on whatever your opponent's up to. So a very safe play out of SKillous. As it does go for the pylon block. There is that Nexus on the way. On the way for both players. Both players are expanding. Hallucination confirms the Stalker production. Confirms the expansion. There is no proxy. The SKillous knows. Behind this, NightMare going for a faster Twilight Houndswind to blink. He's going for a blink-based opener. SKillous has yet to throw down any tech. Until now. Adept does shade into the main base. With SKillous, he was not able to wall up. Yeah, late to react, late to respond. Probes are going down, getting up to 2, getting up to 3 workers already. This is getting a bit out of hand here in the early game. 3 probe kills. He wants 4. He's not going to get it. Now we're being forced back. Stalkers, they hit the natural at the same time. Adept does fall, but the pylon likewise is going to crumble as well. Oh, just barely. Pylon does fall. NightMare kiting well. Oh, and SKillous going for a Twilight Counter opener, not into blink. Oh, as another Stalker goes down. Rough trades here for SKillous, but he's going for a Dark Shrine. Bold move. Bold move here. Now, currently, there is a sentry. There is a sentry for NightMare. He's scouting, he's checking, and we should soon see hallucination. And that hallucination should confirm the tech. If not, NightMare's going to be in trouble. As he has no detection. He's going for a 3rd gateway. Proxy across the map, setting up for a 4th gate. Uh-oh. I'm that much more concerned here. Yeah, 4 gate. So he's going for a 2-base 4 gate all in. 2-base 4 gate blink all in, I should emphasize. Which means 0 detection. Until now, here comes the Robo. Robo's on the way. Detection's on the horizon. SKillous, he has no proxy pylon. But he does put the proxy of his opponent. And can SKillous hold? Hallucination dives in. NightMare, he sees everything. He confirms the tech. He confirms the Dark Shrine. And SKillous, he's not ready here to defend against an all-in. He has no blink himself. He has no immortal. This is the risk you take when you go for a Dark Shrine. DT does waddle in. But NightMare should be fine against this. Yeah, this makes sense. So, SKillous, he knows he got scattered. He's going to use the DT to focus on the pylon. This is all he can do with it. He knows he cannot get economic damage, because by the time he gets into the mineral line, the robo would be done and the observer would be out. So, depowers the gateway. Nicely done. And NightMare takes the third. Okay. So, the 4-gate blink has been thwarted. Instead, he backs off, takes the third base. And SKillous does confirm. And for the first time in this broadcast, for the first time tonight, both players are expanding. Let's go. Both players are expanding. Both players are building up towards a greater economy. If you remember, we almost saw this in the TVT between Spirit and Cure on Romanticide. And then Cure, he knocked down the third base and he forced an all-in. So we're not there yet, but we're getting there. We didn't get there between Cure and Spirit. Gateway's being repowered. Uh-oh. Gateway's being repowered. Remember, NightMare, he has that blink advantage. He's moving out. SKillous trying to keep up. He's got the 1 Archon from the Dark Templar. He's got the 1 Immortal. He has some force fields. NightMare looking for a way in. This arm is looking quite vulnerable. NightMare, yeah, is reinforcing. And I spoke too soon when I was like, oh, yo, we gotta finally get into our third bases. I don't think so. I don't think that's the case here. NightMare has that supply lead. The Depths shade into the natural. They pull apart the attention of SKillous. Probes are being targeted. It's 4 probes so far. SKillous still looking for a way in. Now we're up to 2 Immortals. True. Up to 2 Immortals. Once again, keeping on the main army. Headed towards the main base. Yeah, he has high ground vision. Dives into the main. SKillous out of position, trying to respond. What are we going for? Nothing in particular. Yeah, SKillous, he will defend. He will force this back. SKillous, he's holding. Meanwhile, NightMare rotates over. Patches to Adepts. At least looks to. SKillous, he's somewhat keeping up. Only somewhat though. That's a lot of charge lots. There's a lot of charges amassing for NightMare. And he's not taking his gases. He's got 1 gas at the natural, no gases at the third base. He's going Mass Zealot, a Dark Shrine on the way as well, because why not? SKillous is taking defensive stance. He's trying to hold. Morphing in more Archons. True, that will help. Oh. NightMare takes on the sentry. He has vision of the main base. SKillous does notice. NightMare pulls away. Pulls away. Oh. Sniping a sentry. And we're still massing more. That's a lot of zealots, mate. That's a lot of zealots. Now, is that enough to overwhelm 3 Archons? That's the big question. That's the big question here. Like, Archons, do not underestimate them against zealots. They can trade very well. But can they trade this well enough? 25 zealots for NightMare. SKillous not too far behind with his own zealot count. He's got 17 of his own. NightMare taking another expansion. Maintaining map control. He will force a cancel. And containing SKillous. Stalkers, they poke in, they distract. So I'll say hunt down the Stalkers, they get one. Almost two. At this point, NightMare needs his own Archons. And he does have two of them, to be fair. Has no Temple Archives, he's using DTs instead. Has two Archons, is that going to be enough? The Immortals are going to be another deciding factor for SKillous. The Immortals do a great job at just focusing down Archons and focusing down Stalkers. The armies, they pass by each other. Ah, never mind. SKillous, he notices. Yeah, he does notice the rotation. He's keeping up.
We embrace the glory of battle.
NightMare, he's maxed. He's up almost 50 supply. He's pushing forward. And he's going to collapse in. He does commit. Does commit forward. Archons are morphing in as we speak. A lot of them here in the back line, though. Yeah, a lot of them are further back. Zealots are going to be melting. But we can see NightMare getting into the Immortals. He's trying to focus him down. He gets one. Takes down one Immortal. Now going for the others. Archons, they get surrounded. DT's getting into the mix. And NightMare, he does it. He breaks through. There's just too much blue Protoss. Again, too much of a supply lead. GG gets called, and NightMare ties up the series 1-1. Whew, GG. NightMare does tie us up, and we have a back and forth. It was a very intense early game, and NightMare did take an early lead. I will say that. Unfortunately, SKillous, he was rushing into the DTs was very risky, and it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it in the end. The Dark Shrine opener did actually put SKillous behind because he just wasn't able to really maintain map control. He was just bleeding out unit after unit, a lot of workers as well. He wasn't able to make use of the Dark Templar. They morphed into Archons eventually, but in the end, he did fall behind early on and was never able to really recover from there. That's why NightMare had just such a massive lead and advantage. Faster third, faster fourth base. GG. GG, well played. Whew. That leads us into our next game. That leads us into game 3. We're going to be loading into Whispers of Gold. Let's go. A much smaller map. And hey, we finally got some macro here. I mean, it was not a back and forth macro game, but you know, technically NightMare maxed out. Did max out, did reach 1 supply on 4 bases. True. It's good enough. it's we'll take it. Not really the macro that I wanted, but you know what? It's fine. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the red Protoss player for Team Liquid being forced into a tied series. We'll see if he can bring it back. It is SKillous. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss. Representing Streamer Zone from South Korea, it is NightMare. Tying up the series 1-1. Here we go. As we do move out. To move out with the scout. And we'll see how we open up here. Once again, we are loading into a very small map. This is a rush map, short rush distance by ground, exposed bases. Aggression is favored here on Whispers of Gold, so we should be seeing 2 gate openers. 2 gate openers all around from NightMare and from SKillous. Considered unsafe to do otherwise. We are opening up and mirroring each other for the time being. There's no proxy, no hidden or fake pylon or real pylon. See a pylon in the main, likewise pylon in the main base for NightMare as well. And both players will confirm. So with these probe scouts, both players will confirm the opener, they will confirm what's going on, and can rest easy in the early game. Can rest easy. SKillous is on patrol. see double Adept Opener out of NightMare, much more aggressive. We see Stalker Sentry out of SKillous. So SKillous going for a safe opener, NightMare being aggressive once again. So double Adept is going to be shading across the map. Two Adepts, they can one-shot probes. And the goal here is to keep SKillous back and to threaten a dive into the main base. It's going to be on SKillous to keep up. It's going to be on SKillous to keep up with the aggression. Likewise, Pylon even finishes here, delaying the expansion even longer. SKillous, he will take the Nexus. Depths, they don't make it into the main. Shade is cancelled, and NightMare is forced to take the unnatural natural. We've seen this before. In a way, we saw this on Ultra Love. So NightMare, forced to expand elsewhere, is going to be much more exposed. And we could see SKillous punish this. Could see him punish. Hallucination will scout, will confirm there is no natural. He checks the triangular third, and now he's going over towards the linear third. Not quite. There we go. There we go. Does check, does confirm. He gets eyes on the Nexus. Now he knows. And how will SKillous respond? For now, going for a Twilight Council to Blink. Blink is going to be slightly faster for NightMare. Catching at the Adepts. Nice force field. Locks one down. The other commits to the shade and doesn't get a probe. SKillous, he holds. Does hold. Massing up his army. Just see a third gateway on the way for NightMare, so building up to 3. SKillous is moving out. Now, this early on, what's a big factor here is the force fields. Blink is on the way, that is true, but Blink isn't done. Blink is not done yet. So these force fields, they reign supreme. They can lock down the army, they can cut it in half, and SKillous can take a fight. But it goes both ways. Likewise, it goes the way of NightMare as well. Does hallucinate, which means limited force fields. Army gets spotted. And he looks down 2 of those Stalkers. Yeah, 2 Stalkers going to be going down. Brutal Pickups getting a third. Yeah, third Stalker as well. Better trades for SKillous. He loses 1 sentry. Oh, loses 2. 2 sentries for 3 Stalkers. Likewise does commit in. Boys are being pulled. And SKillous, can he break through? Not quite. The boys do a great job buffering. Great job supporting. And NightMare, he's holding. NightMare, he does hold on. Does cost him a couple of workers. But Blink is now done. And NightMare, he can chase us down. And he forces the recall. Just in time. And as the dust settles, Stalker count is even. 0 sentries with both players. No sentries left. And SKillous has a worker lead. That is true, but SKillous is going to be in danger here as we're setting up for a proxy pylon. What do we have? We have 3 gates at home, 1 across the map. We saw this attempted on Frostline, if you recall, last game actually, with NightMare going 4-gate Blink. So 2 base 4-gate Blink Stalker. SKillous, he is actually going for his Adept Harass, and just by chance, does scout the proxy. So he is aware. Ooh, throws down a third. Bold move. I don't think he's going to save it. Yeah, just very greedy here from SKillous. As he trades with the Stalkers. There's a cancel. And NightMare, he's reinforcing. Again, he can warp in 4 Stalkers at a time. And SKillous trying to keep up. Oh my god. Being forced further back. Alas, we can one-shot Stalkers, and SKillous is being overwhelmed. Yeah, he can barely not keep up. The shield battery is helping somewhat here. There's the NG overcharge. Adepts are shit into the main base. But at the same time, NightMare, he's gaining ground. He's pushing further in. And SKillous, he just can't hold on here. He pulls a couple of boys. Better trades for NightMare. Adepts do shade in. Workers are going down. But NightMare has just a massive army. And he will overwhelm. Yeah, takes down the mineral line. Going for the Stalkers. Oh my god. NightMare's army's getting very low. But still too large. Still just big enough. Still too many stalkers, too much of an army. There's too much soup. Oh, a bit of miscontrol targets the plates. But regardless, it's 16 to 6. Oh my god, there's just so much that Skillous can do here. Only so much he can do. As he'll lose every worker at the same time though. Skillous, he's popping off. He's getting more probe kills across the map. And 17 probe kills across the map. Skillous, he's holding on. Oh, barely holding on. Punishes some of these weakened stalkers. Does bring them down. But despite that, it still might be too much. Oh, never mind. Reinforcements now coming in. Very close fight. Mate, Skillous, he was down 10 stalkers, by the way. He was down 10. Now he's down 3. But I mean, still down. Like, Skillous still has that stalker lead. Boys are being pulled. Oof. Yeah, without a shield battery, it's just too much. GG gets called, and NightMare, he overwhelms the army. NightMare will take a 2-1 lead. GG. GG, well played. NightMare committing to his 2-base aggression, to his 2-base 4-gate blink. Skillous did bleed out a little stalkers ahead of time, and unfortunately he was being a little bit too greedy there. Remember, he had invested into a Nexus instead of earlier gateways. As a result, he was behind when it came to his warpins, when it came to his stalker count as well. He just had a small army overall, and he was overwhelmed. GG. GG, well played. That will lead us here into game number 4, and we'll see if if Skillous can force the ace match, or if NightMare can take it all here and now. We've had a lot of 3-1s. We've had a lot of 3-1s here tonight. Do we break that curse, or does it continue? Let's go. We've had actually nothing but 3-1s tonight. Purely game 4s. We have yet to see an ace match. Let's go. We'll see if that changes here and now. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Streamer Zone. 1 game away from claiming the series. It is NightMare. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player representing Team Liquid down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back and force that ace match. The pressure is on. It is Skillous. We go. And once again, no ramp. No ramp coming into the natural, unlike a map like El Dorado, for example, or Ultra Love, where you can set up these more economic builds. That is not the case here. Not on ley lines. So once again, 2 gate openers. So far, we've been seeing more aggressive starts out of NightMare. Last game, of course, did open up double Adept. We'll see if he does the same, or even proxies. For now, going for the probe scout. Workers moving out, and again, the goal here is to keep eyes into counter pylons. To make sure everything is where it should be. Headed. There's that second pylon for Skillous, likewise second pylon for NightMare as well. And both players will confirm. From here, their goal is going to be to pylon block the expansion, which we saw last game from Skillous, I should say. To try to disrupt the opener, and to delay. See if we can delay. Oh. As we have our initial units of choice, NightMare opening up Double Stalker. Double Stalker out of NightMare, meanwhile Stalker Sentry out of Skillous. So once again, safe opener out of Skillous and a much more aggressive opener by NightMare. With Double Stalker, he can move out across the map and try to overwhelm the initial units. Here comes that Hallucination Scout. And here comes NightMare, initially dealing with that, the pylon. Again, Skillous has been very adamant about these pylon blocks, but now it is cancelled. NightMare, he can finally expand, so can Skillous. So NightMare is going for his tech of choice, and so far relatively mirrored builds. Twilight Council for NightMare, Twilight Council for SKillous, getting into Blink. Blink is on the way. Blink is on the way. We have our initial shield batteries as well. Playing it safe from SKillous. And so far, passive starts. Okay, let's go. Things can change with our tech. I mean, last time we saw this from SKillous, we saw a Dark Shrine. Not this time, though. Blink. Blink for both. And with these non-stop hallucination scouts, we will confirm the lower gateway count and the tech as well. We're just making sure that the gateway count is in check. We're making sure that there's no faster third base, that there's no earlier gateway explosion. We've gotten the aggression out of our system. we're calming down. Settling in. As this is the most defensive and passive start that we've had between these two this series. This is more of your standard macro PvP, which is just like sentry openers and non-stop hallucinations. Just constantly checking, constantly looking. SKillous setting up for a third, and he will take it. So will NightMare. So yeah, just Sentry Stalker into more Sentry Stalker, into Blink, into third. We finally got it. we got there, Pat. We got there. Like, again, the game on Frostline didn't really count. Like, yes, NightMare maxed out on Frostline, but he was still being very aggressive and it was still very committed. This is a little more back and forth, a little more defensive. Building up. We'll be saturating our third bases, that will then saturate our, so we'll then get a fourth, and then we start moving out. See SKillous fanning out with his probes. Looking for proxies. Does have control of the center of the map. With Blink, he feels confident to move out. He can always blink away. And we'll see what he can get done. Pushing between the bases, he can catch some transferring workers. He can and he will. He gets one, he gets two. He gets three. Gets three probes, blinks away. Nice start here for SKillous. Doesn't lose any stalkers. And backs the hell off. From here, we're building up towards charge. Both players should be. We have +1 on the way. We should be working towards charge, into Archons, into Immortal production. Immortals are optional, but for the most part, Gateway Army into Archon production is what we expect. I say that we have a Gateway Explosion out of NightMare, and it looks like he's opting to forego charge, going Mass Blink Stalker. Okay, I mean, this is another option, true. This is viable. There we go. Charge on the way. Didn't take his gases. He's on a 3 gas economy. Likewise, so is SKillous. So we're going initially Blink Stalker into charge slots. And because both players are going into charge slots, both players should then head into Archon production as well. Now, there are some players that will skip Archons and go straight into Disruptors. Geralt is known for this. Geralt, he loves just like cutting tech and rushing into Disruptors in this matchup. It can be risky, but I mean, if you get away with it, then you can snowball out of control with a higher Disruptor count early on. Otherwise, Archons are the go-to. There's an alternate answer to charge loss, and that is Colossus. You can go like Robo into Bay into Colossus production. That's very niche, but is also sometimes seen from time to time. That is not the case here, though. Neither player has teched up in that direction. So far, just Gateway armies. So far, purely Gateways. Stalkers, they move out. NightMare poking in. Oh, SKillous catching NightMare out. Gets a couple of stalkers. Picks up a couple. Forcing NightMare back. Likewise, Zealots, they do get into the mineral line. Not too much damage, getting 2 probes, but they do distract NightMare. And SKillous is going to reinforce. He will expand behind this, but he's committing. He's pushing forward. Stalker count in favor of SKillous. Zealot count in favor of NightMare. He's got 23 Zealots. That's a lot of Zealots. In a head-on fight, I do favor NightMare, except for the force fields. Force fields are going to be a big factor. I mean, that's another reason why you would incorporate Archons, to break the force fields. SKillous is moving in. NightMare pulling away. Toss full back. Fourth base is getting up and running for both players. Still committing tier to a gateway composition. They're not pulling away. No extra gases yet. As NightMare, he gets spotted. Is moving forward. And shows his force fields. So far so good. Does it away the Stalkers. Yeah, Zealots are going to be cut off. He cleans up most of those Zealots. Stalkers going for the middle line, going for the base instead. But they don't engage in the main army. And the base will fall. Not a bad pickup. NightMare takes down the expansion. Has a greater concave. Forces Seals back. NightMare from here, he can pull away. Get the hell out of here. Does pull back. Against SKillous, he does have the larger Stalker army. He's got so many Stalkers here. And again, did well with the force fields. Did very well. He was able to deal with half the army at a time. And SKillous can now overwhelm. Sure, he lost the base, but SKillous, he has a massive force here. Does push forward. Prism goes down. He's also tanking some shots. True. They are tanking. But are there enough Zealots? NightMare pulling away. Still plummeting in supply. Still needs more Zealots. Needs more Chargels here. Just distracting SKillous at the same time. Speaking of Zealot run-bys, they come in towards that third. 8 more probe kills. Brutal damage. NightMare going for a drop into the main. SKillous, he does notice. Does notice a drop. Turns everything back around. Forced to recall. Is forced to recall. NightMare, he will keep SKillous pinned. And NightMare can recover. Can recover, getting into +3. Neither player has teched. Neither player is still taking any extra gases. So still purely Zealot and Stalker. Zealot counts are neck and neck. Stalker count likewise close as well. NightMare will have a massive upgrade lead. He has +3 finishing up, and +3 just began for SKillous. Uh-oh. But NightMare is getting caught out here. Again, he can't afford to lose any Stalkers against Zealots. Not like this. Has to pull away. SKillous chasing him down. And NightMare pushes forward. NightMare out of position. Oh. It's a pylon. Takes down a pylon. Pulls away. Still very much on the knife's edge. Still very intense. SKillous goes for a massive Zealot counterattack. And he overwhelms those Zealots. And once again, going for the middle line. NightMare, he reacts with his entire army. And that does create an opening at the same time, though. NightMare, oh, he gets shot down. Yeah, Zealot drop gets denied. And SKillous, he gets another 10 probe kills. And that's all he's looking for. Just economic damage, getting further ahead. Gets 10 workers. Yes, NightMare has +3, but +3, what's he doing with it? He's stuck at home defending. And SKillous is catching up. He's catching up with that upgrade. But still upgrade advantage in favor of NightMare. Is moving forward. A lot of Stalkers are taking a lot of hits. Better concave for SKillous. Does pull away. And we're just committing to just pure gateway. Just pure gateway, man. Let's go. The Zealot run-bys, they continue. Mate, these Zealot run-bys have been the MVP. Like, how many probes have they killed so far? 30. Look at the units lost. 30 probes for NightMare. 1 probe for SKillous. SKillous, he has lost nothing to run-bys. His economy has been untouched outside of losing that expansion earlier. Did lose the Nexus, but no workers. And SKillous, he can overwhelm. Yeah, he just has a massive Stalker lead. NightMare, he blinks further in. Denies the warp in. But he's going to be chased down. Celtic coming from behind. NightMare sets up the flank, but it's not going to be good enough. Yeah, the Prism gets shut down. Denies the warp in. SKillous, he should overwhelm. And he will. Will overwhelm NightMare. Knocking him down. Again, throughout the course of this game, just bleeding out so many workers that did eat into his overall supply, into his army size, into his stalkers, and into this game. And yeah, SKillous, he has broken through. GG gets called for the first time tonight. We don't have a 3-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. Let's go. We're going all the way to game 5. Whew. As SKillous, he brings it back here, and we're going to the ace match. It's going to be on Amygdala. Let's go. I'm happy that at least one of our matches here went all the way to the ace match. It just happened to be the last one, the final one. Do love to see it. The final PvP. And here we go. We're jumping into Amygdala. Again, a very intense game as well. There were some good moments from NightMare, especially when he sniped the expansion, for example. But throughout the course of, in the aftermath of that, throughout the course of the game, we saw just constant run-by after run-by. Because of that, despite some upgrade advantages that NightMare had, he never could use them. He never could be assertive with those upgrades with his army. He was stuck at home time and time again by the non-stop stellar run-bys, and they never dealt any major damage. Maybe like, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 probes at a time, but it all did add up over time. And with that, GG. GG, well played. Now we're getting into the ace match here, and spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Amygdala, we have the South Green Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Streamer Zone. It is NightMare. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Red Protoss player representing Team Liquid. Bringing it back, forcing the ace match. It is SKillous. We go. Here we go. As we are moving out. And welcome one and all to Amygdala. Amygdala, being one of the larger maps in the map pool, true, is a large map. But no ramp into the natural, which means 2-gate opener. 2-gate opener all around. Let's go. Going to be opening up, and we'll see if once again SKillous goes Stalker Sentry, which he has gone for every game so far in this series, or almost every game. We'll see if that trend continues. Again, because the map is larger, I expect a more standard setup in a longer game state, but we'll see. We shall see. Again, proxy gateways and proxy pylons don't care about the length of the map. They can allow you to commit any wave. Pylons are in the main bases, so no proxy, no all-ins. And we have a Stalker Adept out of NightMare. Stalker Sentry once again from... Oh, sorry, my apologies. He cancelled the Sentry, starts and opens up Double Adept for the first time. Let's go. Oh, never mind. Cancels the second Adept, goes for a Stargate instead. SKillous, he's mixing it up here. The probe, does dip in. I love what SKillous is doing. He does start that second unit to make it look like a standard opener. But he will check, he will confirm. He gets eyes on the Stargates. NightMare, being careful, does recheck. And now he knows to be set up back at home defensively. With Stalkers, with most likely a shield battery as well. Going for the Twilight Council before expansion. So SKillous is going to be the aggressor. The problem, though, is that NightMare knows. NightMare, he sees well ahead of time that an Oracle should be coming his way. So NightMare should be ready for this. There's that Oracle. SKillous, he confirms the expansion. Adept shades into the main. Gets a probe. Gets one. Gets 2. Takes down 2 workers. Nice pickups. And the Oracle's rallied straight into the mineral line, making a beeline across the map. See NightMare checking for proxies, ensuring there's no shenanigans afoot. Oh, as it does shade into the main. Again, that shouldn't have happened. Does deal some economic damage here by forcing the boys off the mineral line, but no losses. And the Stalkers are in position. Yeah, we're ready for this. Oracle dips in, gets 1 probe, and gets forced out, even sustaining quite a bit of hull damage. So far, good defense by NightMare. Again, he scattered ahead of time. He knew it was the Stargate, he knew it was the Oracle, so he was ready for it. And so far, SKillous, he's in a bit of a rougher position here. His opener, so far, has been lackluster. Hasn't been worth it. Big investment going for the Stargate. And so far has killed 1 probe. So NightMare is in a bit of position. He is saturating his natural, getting to faster blink. Now, at least the Oracle is keeping these Stalkers pinned at home. NightMare, it's going to be risky to move out. As a result, 3rd base. Just takes the 3rd. Takes the 3rd base instead. He's looking to claim that greater economy. SKillous building up his Stalkers. And SKillous, has he scattered? He has. Okay, he's aware. He's aware of the timing of the 3rd base. He knows that he's behind. And yeah, this Oracle's not going to deal any economic damage across the map. We come back here and we set up the stasis traps. There is potential. There's always potential with these stasis traps. Even if SKillous does fall behind in the supply, he can make up for that and take a better fight if these stasis traps pop off. If they do pop off. Until then, we're just building up. Just building up back at home. Getting a Robo, a 3rd gateway. Into Forger +1. Same can be said for SKillous. Now, as we settle into this game state, I would assume that we would head towards, again, +1, blink, charge, into Archon production, but we avoided that entirely last game. I was shocked to see that throughout the entire game, we never took a 3rd gas, right? We never took a 4th gas, guys. We stayed on 3 gases. We stayed purely reinforcing with Stalker and Zealot. Never did touch any higher form of tech. That is changing here. NightMare already beginning in water production. Okay. Water production has begun. He's not going to be purely reliant on a gateway army. So it's on the way for SKillous. And should soon be on the way for NightMare as well. Stalkers do trade. First Immortal has arrived. NightMare starts up +1. Both players do. I see down here, NightMare, he's got his Observer. So it's all the stasis traps. We'll shut them down. SKillous setting up his gateway explosion. Both players still staying on a lower gas count. And we should be seeing charge soon here for NightMare, as he will be incorporating more Zealots. There we go. Charge down the way. Now this is late. NightMare, he was banking up resources. He was banking up minerals, banking up gas. This is not intentional, so this is a delayed charge here for NightMare. That may impact the game. It's possible he wanted to be more aggressive, more assertive. So hopefully it doesn't get punished for it too hard. So far, both players taking their 4th bases. There it is, Archon production for NightMare. So he's not going purely Zealot, going Immortal into Archons, Charge Up Stalker, more robust, more standard unit composition here from NightMare. SKillous has not done so. SKillous, like the previous game, sticking with a gateway composition. Purely gateways. Pure Zealot Stalker. So coming into this, I do favor NightMare's army. It's a little bit more complex, has a little more potential as well, can be more efficient. But it does need a little bit more time to build up to a higher Immortal and higher Archon count. So NightMare's taking a more defensive stance. SKillous, more aggressive. The armies, they do pass by each other. NightMare, he spots the armies. He does spot the rotation. He's racing over. At the same time, Zealot Bombay hit towards the top side. NightMare, he does leave some Zealots behind. Again, both armies trying to posture, trying to rotate. SKillous looking for a way in. And the Prism is actually rallied into the main. He's going for the main base. Hits an Olin expansion. NightMare out of position. And force a recall. There's the recall. SKillous pulls away. Ideally wants to hit at both locations at once. There's the defensive warp in. The Immortal! The Immortal is exposed. And does he go for the dive? He doesn't. Doesn't dive in. SKillous playing it safe. Zealot dropping the main, warping gets denied. We have more Zealots rushing towards that 4th. SKillous is trying to pull NightMare apart, and so far it's somewhat working. Nice hold position on top of the cannon, but the cannon still goes down, and probes are falling. Yeah, he breaks through. Does break through, pushing forward once again. NightMare is somewhat keeping up, still losing probes though. It's going to be 8 dead workers here at the 4th. Doesn't quite break him though. Doesn't quite break the defenses. That's a lot of Stalkers. SKillous 41. 41 Stalkers. Almost double the Stalker count of NightMare. And again, he has dive potential. Does he go for it? Picks up a Stalker. Keeping him distracted. Another Zealot run by. No cannon! The cannon wasn't rebuilt. No shield battery either. NightMare, he does slip up here. Prism across the map, gets shut down. SKillous is all over this. He's all over NightMare. Takes down the pylon, takes down the Zealots. NightMare pushing forward. The stage traps on the high ground. SKillous, he's in control. He's in control of this game. Archons, they will defend. But another war. He's got 2 prisms. Oh my, he's crazy. War prism into the natural, goes for a big warp in. Black-White blinks forward. Ooh. Gets punished for it though. Does get punished for the blink. Does snipe one Immortal. One Immortal goes down. Zealots into the mineral line. Another warping into the main. And NightMare just cannot keep up. He's trying to, don't get me wrong. He's trying to defend. Archons will shut this down. Taking another expansion. Let's go. But is losing a lot of workers throughout. Once again, the space is still exposed. Now, this is some nice damage by SKillous, but he hasn't broken the main army. The main army is still looking quite powerful here, quite solid for NightMare. So has a lot going for him. And this time we see a full army rotation from SKillous. And he wants those Archons. He wants them. Can he get them? I think he can. But the Zealot Warping finishes. First Archon gets started. He gets 1. Takes out 1 Archon. The other 2 get low. Jeez, so many stasis fields. Oh my god. Prism towards the expansion. Ooh, is cleaned up. Stalker's pushing forward. I do think that NightMare... I do think that SKillous can actually push in. It's only 1 Immortal. Denies the warp in. Nicely done. Takes out another Archon. Down to 2. 2 Archons left, 2 Immortals as well. Ooh, Brutal Stasis goes off, and SKillous here, yeah, he's gonna punish. Where is he? Does he collapse on this army? Zelsa breaking through. SKillous, he doesn't rotate. Army still in position. He was hoping to pull his opponent apart, going for the gold. Another Archon's gonna fall, down to 1. Yeah, 1 Archon left. Zelsa being cleaned up. But SKillous, like, he's doing it. Like, over time, he's just out-trading his opponent. There we go. Stalker's finally going down. Where are the Zealots? Zelsa not here. He can keep going. Gold base is getting low. It's the one thing keeping NightMare in this game. Then here come the Zealot reinforces. The final icon goes down. No more Archons, no more Immortals. And SKillous, he does it. He breaks through once again, just like at Home Straight Cup. He will be the one to bring NightMare down. It went all the way to the ace match. The only series that went to the ace match. GG gets called, and SKillous will claim the series 3-2, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played, NightMare. He is knocked out of the OSC Season 12 Championship. It went all the way to the ace match. It was a very intense series here, but SKillous, he was the first to gain map control to really corner and to contain NightMare on these 4 bases, and NightMare had such a hard time keeping up, back and forth. And again, it took a while, right? It was a battle of attrition. SKillous, it took quite some time for him to actually break NightMare, but over time he was getting a couple of probes here and there, killing a cannon, killing a pylon, killing an Archon, getting some Stalkers, just forcing the supply to be split between all 4 bases, just doing a great job there, just keeping him contained. And on top of that, shout out to the Oracle. Remember, the Oracle opener was lackluster, but that one Oracle threw down so many stasis traps throughout the course of that game, and it was a great way for SKillous to really secure himself, to know that he was safe to rotate, because there were just so many stasis traps towards the top side. Whenever we saw NightMare try to counterattack, try to push out, he would be shut down by those stasis traps. So there was just a great buffer zone for SKillous to allow him to be more aggressive, and yeah, it was just all over him. Just pulled NightMare apart. GG. Well played. Well played. GG, well played. With that, a big shout out to shout out to Blankadoos. Oh my god, Pappy, thank you so much for the 100 bits in the chat. Thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it as always. Thank you. Again, all the money that we make here goes back in towards our tournament, so we do appreciate the support as always. And with that, congratulations to SKillous for bringing NightMare down, as that does take us here to our score screen. GG. GG, well played. There you have it. We just wrapped up our 4 best of 5s. I'll be honest, some faster series here. Despite these being best of 5s, and despite us having some more back and forth series here, again, we didn't have a single 3-0, really fast games. I do recommend it. It was a lot of fun. I do recommend it if you missed out on some of the earlier matches. Solar versus Shin, Mana versus Cristiano. You don't need a lot of time, mate. If you got like half an hour, mate, you can get a full best of 5 in you. Those are some fast games, really early aggression, a lot of cheese, a lot of aggression, a lot of all-ins, Kieran Spirit as well. We didn't get a macro game until SKillous versus NightMare. we did not settle into like a back and forth like macro setup until that final series. So I recommend it. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a very dynamic set of matches here. A really aggressive set of matches, and in the end it did end in the finale of SKillous and NightMare in the ace match. So GG, well played, congratulations. And with that, we can catch up on the bracket itself, I believe. Let's head on over. Un momento. When it comes to the overall brackets, there we go. So we were, of course, hold on, let me interact. We were covering the lower bracket. You can see down here, lower bracket round 4 is where we were. Lower bracket round 4. And we just wrapped up our mirror matchups, and that leads us here into the lower bracket round 5. So, who advanced on? Solar. Solar advanced on over Shin, so we have Solar versus Cristiano. in the lower bracket round 5, and we have Cure versus SKillous. It doesn't get easier. SKillous, he took down NightMare to go up against Cure in that next round. So we have round 5 coming up next. Not today, but in a future broadcast. We're going to be going over some more OSC Season 12 Championship, I believe, over the weekend. So we got you covered there with some more OSC content. Meanwhile, this is the lower bracket. What about the upper bracket? Mate, upper bracket round 4. This is what we are covering next on the channel. We have the top players here. Hero versus Max Pax, Geralt versus Clem, into Dark, into Beyond. Oh boy, that's Pappy, calm down. We have quite a lot ahead of us here. Again, these are players that have not lost any series yet. SKillous got knocked down by Hero, Cure got knocked down by Max Pax, Cristiano got knocked down by Geralt, and Shin got knocked down by Clem. Again, all these earlier rounds we've already casted. We've casted all the matches so far, so it's all on YouTube, not on. It is on Twitch, but again, we went over this. It was recently announced that Twitch, they are kind of, in a way, eliminating their VOD system, so we got a lot of work to do. All of our VODs are on YouTube, but there's a lot of cleaning up we have to do on Twitch. That means we have a lot of... Mate, hold up. Okay, so we'll get into that. For now, though, again, these are going to be our future matches in our next broadcast. We have Hero, Max Pax, Geralt, and Clem into Beyond and Dark, and again, the lower bracket as well. So, again, coming up next here on the channel for some future OC matches are going to be lower bracket round 5 and upper bracket round 4. Bam. That will be on Sunday. As you can see, Sunday morning is going to be our next OSC cast. You can see here we just wrapped up with our Friday broadcast, wrapping up our Friday early morning broadcast, and we have 3 broadcasts today. Up next, we have the Wardy TV February 2025 Group A. Shout out to Wardy, by the way. Wardy, he is the main caster for the Wardy TV February event. He has been covering it over on his channel, but there was a complication with Group A. Basically, Shin was unavailable. So because of that, the majority, if not, I would say maybe half of the matches or a good portion of the matches in Group A were not played. And they have been, and Wardy, he is unavailable to actually cover it today or tomorrow. And the playoffs begin on Sunday, if not mistaken. So because of that, Wardy, he reached out. He was like, Pappy, I need someone to cast. I'm like, say no more. I mean, I got you. We cast. That's what we do, Pat. We cast every day. We cast all the time. You know this. He's like, I know. So Wardy, he reached out to us, and we are going to be stepping in, and we're going to be wrapping up the Group A of the Wardy February event. Again, unfortunately, there were complications and they couldn't be covered live at the time, so that is going to be a replay cast. No one knows the results of that group aside from the players themselves, so no one knows what happened in that group. We will be there to wrap up Group A, and Wardy will be continuing the event into the playoffs over the weekend. So Wardy is going to be covering the playoffs over the weekend. We are going to be finishing up the group stage here on the channel, and then we're going to follow that up into OSC King of the Hill. We have Amantis over the weekend, SDO, OSC, and STC. Plenty of content on the channel, plenty more content to arrive, plenty of StarCraft. Here we go. So plenty of content. Cristiano moved to Korea? No, he's in Poland. He's in Polonia, Polonia. Oh wait, did it show? Sorry, did it show the wrong flag? My apologies. I'll fix that up. Was it showing the wrong flag? Oh yes. my apologies. Yes. Cristiano, he's in Poland. For some reason I had the Korean flag. So my apologies. Cristiano, he's a Polish player, not a Korean player. My bad. Thank you for pointing that out. We have since rectified that. But yes, this is our schedule for the rest of the week. Again, so we're going to be live at 6 p.m. KST. That's going to be 8 p.m. AEST, and that is going to be in 5.5 hours. So in 5.5 hours, we're going to be live with the Wardy TV Group A finale. That is going to be the plan. But quickly going back into what I spoke of in regards to the VODs, we posted on our Discord server. Hold on. We'll switch on over. We will switch our scenes. But we did post on our Discord server how many VODs we have on Twitch. We have 7,000 hours worth of content, which is crazy, by the way. We have 7,000 hours worth of content on Twitch, and we can only have 100 hours. They're limiting it to 100 hours, which is basically, it's nothing. It's like a week's worth of casting, if that. Like, mate, we blow through 100 hours in less than a week. So basically, we have to remove all of our VODs. The complicating thing about this, which is frustrating, and it's a daunting task, is that we have to delete these VODs manually ourselves, and we have to make sure that everything's on YouTube, because we actually cannot create our own highlights, and we can't actually edit our own VODs until we get under the cap. So we have to go from 7,000 hours of content on Twitch down under 100 hours before I can start exporting again and editing VODs again. What I mean by that, like this cast, for example, I cannot edit this VOD until we get under that limit. So that's going to be my job for the next 5 hours. I'm going to do my best. I think I deleted 500 hours worth of VODs last night. Basically, last night after we finished the podcast, I just spent the entire time just like exporting and just making sure that everything was on YouTube, and I deleted 500 hours worth of content. Still another 6,500 hours left, and I have to work through all that as quickly as I can before we can start exporting and uploading to YouTube again. Specifically, what I mean here is Twitch, because we are over the limit, Twitch does not allow you to highlight your VODs. And that's how we typically export to YouTube, is first we highlight, for example, this VOD, for example. We would highlight it and cut it into matches. So I would turn this VOD on Twitch into 4 VODs, into SKillous versus NightMare, into Solo versus Shin, into Beyond versus Cure, and then I would export those individual matches to YouTube. That's how we do things here. So we cut it on Twitch, then we export to YouTube, and then when it's exported, we delete it. We delete it from Twitch. But I can't do that because I can't edit or highlight this VOD until we go under the limit. So basically, I have to do it as quickly as possible, otherwise we're going to be falling behind when it comes to our uploading to YouTube. So yeah, that's going to be quite a task. That's going to be quite a task ahead of us. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of removing, a lot of deleting that we have to do. It's a shame. If you are curious about more of our in-depth thoughts, we did discuss this during the podcast last night. If you don't know what our podcast is, that is our weekly podcast for StarCraft 2, where we go over all of the weekly events, all the news, all that is going on related to StarCraft. This was one of the topics, so we did discuss it last night. So yeah, that is definitely something frustrating and very daunting as well. Like it's very heartbreaking. Like, mate, I posted on Discord as well. Like we have some really old casts on Twitch, and there's a lot of history there, right? We have I posted hold on, I just posted here as well in our Twitch channel and YouTube as well. I don't know if I can't link it on YouTube. The link is too long. But before we delete it, like we have all of our biggest cast early on was in 2020 when we casted I Am Katowice. For those that remember, back during I Am Katowice 2020, Fear Dragon was I believe he was the C stream. It was either the C stream or the D stream. But Fear Dragon was casting, and he wasn't able to cast. Something came up. It was a personal matter. Fear Dragon, he was unable to be, I think it was the D stream for I Am Katowice. There were 4 main streams, and because he couldn't cast, we stepped in. We stepped in because we were, at the time, we were covering all the qualifiers. I just linked an image of all those VODs from back in 2020. But that was our first big opportunity to cast on the mainstream. I remember we got like a couple thousand viewers. We were casting players like Zest and Rogue and Bunny and Zaun and all these big names, and we got a lot of viewership. But back in 2020, that was our first time kind of like entering that foray, and it's a shame to remove those VODs. Like it's a shame, because it's a lot of history of StarCraft. That's like one of our big events. I had to delete like the Copa America broadcast, and I mean, at the end of the day, like sure, all these VODs are on YouTube right now, so you know, it's not like they're being removed forever, but like, you know, it's still like history. Like the Twitch chat is saved on those VODs and all that stuff. And yeah, it's like a lot of our early beginnings. So it's very yeah, it's very soul crushing. Like going through one by one and deleting your own content one by one on Twitch, like just like thousands of hours of casts and of tournaments. It's crazy. It's yeah, it doesn't feel good. So I know that Kuro is a little bit depressed at the moment as well about it, but I mean, you know, what else can we do? So yeah, that's something that we're going through at the moment, just removing all of the VODs, removing all the content from Twitch. Yeah. Smooch, Pappy Smooch. I know people like speedrunners with little reward-breaking runs, hundreds of videos or more, losing out the most. I would say what we're losing the most in, I think Fear Dragon actually tweeted it recently. He tweeted last night. The worst thing is we're losing VODs from people that aren't with us anymore. There's a lot of content on Twitch of Total Biscuit and of In Control. Total Biscuit and In Control, their Twitch channels, they're still there. Like there's still a lot of VODs, and people like this, like they can't, you know, export everything to YouTube now. It comes down to like third-party people like archivists to like get those VODs. Otherwise, that is just going to be deleted from the internet. So stuff like that is a really big shame. Thankfully, unlike with like Husky, who like had a big deletion and big exodus from the scene, and so much content was removed, thankfully here in this kind of scenario, we have a heads up. So we have like until April to get everything ready and to prepare. So we have until April for people to like save those VODs from In Control and save those VODs from Total Biscuit. So there is that kind of time that we have, I guess. But it is a shame, because if no one does that, then that's gone 100%. Like this, it's just gone. Beyond just, yeah, for sure. But like that's the biggest. I want to say that's like the biggest blow is not just those two, but of course many other streamers that aren't with us anymore who have a bunch of content on Twitch that potentially could lose it all, right? Which would be pretty heartbreaking, to be honest. Pretty heartbreaking. So anyway, regardless, GG will play. With that, we are wrapping up here for the day, and that's what I'm going to be doing for the next 5 hours, is deleting VODs on Twitch. Just to trying to clear as much as I can, and maybe by the end, in like 7 days or so, we'll be done. Like I have like a goal of like a set amount that I can remove a day, and hopefully I can reach that goal. Hopefully people passionate enough to also have the knowledge and means and the time will save VODs from people who pass away. Yeah, hopefully. That's the hope, you know. It's the hope. People have to step up for that. But regardless, with that, we are going to be wrapping up. Again, as I quickly mentioned, just winding it back, I suppose. We have our schedule. Again, our next cast is going to be in 5.5 hours. We're going to be going over the WardyTV WardyTV February Group A stage, the group stage. We're going to be wrapping that up before the playoffs over the weekend. And of course, we have OSC King of the Hill afterwards as well. So we'll see you guys in 5.5 hours. If you're out there, if you're in Europe or in the Americas, get some sleep, get some rest. We'll see you when you wake up. Otherwise, if you're in Oceania or Southeast Asia or Korea, then hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you later on tonight. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you want to tune into VODs, now YouTube is the place to be. Solely YouTube in a couple of months, I suppose. So !socials in the chat. You'll get a link to our YouTube, our TikTok, our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, all things CranKy Ducklings. So you can check out our content over on YouTube, or check out our channel or ourselves, our community, elsewhere if you wish. Likewise, you can also support us via Patreon. Patreon is the place to be. That is to help fund our tournaments, events like Sparkling Tuna Cup, Sea Duckling Open, and Masters on Open. It is all funded by the community, for the community, via Patreon. So you can help us grow those events through Patreon issue if you wish. So thank you so much to all the patrons that we already have. Thank you so much for all the support that we gain, whether it's with Twitch subs or on Patreon as well. Thank you for all the support. Otherwise, we'll see you guys either later on tonight in 5 hours, or tomorrow during another broadcast. Again, we're live multiple times a day, every single day. We cast more than any other channel out there. We're always there for some StarCraft, always there for StarCraft, whenever we can be. So we'll see you next time. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, thanks for watching. Hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.